it really doesn't get nicer than that. The view you're seeing today doesn't get any better than that. Could have been a bit warmer, I suppose.
Oh, perfect.
Well, do you want the good news?
Yes.
There's no more walking. That's your walking done. This is when you get to sit back and relax now for a little bit. I'm going to take you on a drive along this coast, then in through the mountains into the glens of Antrim. So you're going to be on the bus for the next 50 to 55 minutes. This is the point of the day where I normally hear snoring. And I won't be offended. So recline your seat, or if you want to just sit back and enjoy the views, because we're going to take you on a lovely drive. So I'm going to drive along this coast for about 5-10 minutes, and we're then going to go through a little seaside town called Ballycastle, at which point we're going to head inland. We're going to leave the coast for a while. Part of this coastal drive is through an area known as the 9 Glens of Antrim. You may have read it when you were booking your tour. The drive takes us through the 9 Glens. It's a really beautiful part of the country. It's deemed an area of natural beauty. It's like stepping back in time. The glens, and if you've ever pictured rural Ireland in your head, how rural Ireland would look, that's where we're taking you now. Water in between Rathlin and we're actually seeing parts of Scotland we've never seen before. Okay, now just for anybody, especially if you're sitting on the left hand side of the bus at the window and you're not a big fan of heights, just lean in to the right. At the top of this hill we're on a cliff edge, so I'll try and get the bus as close to the edge as possible. Remember, I wasn't supposed to be driving this today. So just look left, it's just a sheer drop down there. The wind's a bit strong. Oh, just about 6. Steadies the nerves. Now the next number of towns and villages, we're not going to see any red, white and blue flags. I was saying this morning, you know, you're going to see flags that sort of show a loyalty. Actually, these next few towns, you won't see any flags. The only flags you're going to see are sporting flags. They're not political, not nationalistic, they're sporting. Because these next towns and villages, people are very much Irish. So they're very much into their Irish music, Irish dancing, the culture, the language. And when it comes to sport, there's only one sport that's played, and that is the Irish sport of hurling. Anybody ever seen it? If you watch it for the first time, it looks like mass murder. 15 players carrying sticks made of ash wood. Now the stick will have a flat base, that's how they strike the ball. The ball is similar in size to a cricket ball or baseball, similar texture and weight. These guys can strike the ball 100, 120 metres. But it's law now to wear a helmet similar to ice hockey helmets as protection, because it is regarded as the fastest field sport in the world. But it's very tough, it's very physical, but very, very skillful. And if you ever get an opportunity to watch it, just look up hurling, Hurling. In these next towns and villages, it's not just a sport, it's a way of life. These people live and breathe the sport. So you might see children walking around the streets just carrying a stick with a ball, balancing on the stick. It just constantly, they go very, very tough. Now the mountains you see in front of us, that is where we're going to take you very soon. It's a lovely drive through. There's, as I say, it is like, parts of the glens there is no indication of a period of time. And you'll find Game of Thrones would have used these glens quite a lot for that reason. There is no indication of time. You're not going to see telegraph poles or electricity pylons in certain parts of the glens. But you'll just see little rivers and streams. And again, especially on a day like today, it is just lovely just to sit back and walk, see the views you have. So at some stage coming through the glens, I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to put on a little bit of music and just let you sit back and enjoy it. But the glens of Antrim would be filled with Irish mythology, storytelling. Because Ireland is a nation that is famous for literature and songwriting. So there'll be stories told and songs written about these glens over centuries. So you'll hear stories of fairies and banshees, and you'll hear stories of leprechauns. I hope you all believe in leprechauns, the little people. Mind you, I had a guy ask me one day, I thought leprechauns were only in the Republic of Ireland. It took me 5 minutes to explain to him, sir, leprechauns are not political. You know, Ireland was partitioned in the 1920s. Leprechauns have been in Ireland for centuries. So when Ireland was partitioned, they didn't think, well, we're going to have to move south now. They don't understand that. Because if that's the case, what are they going to do when Brexit comes? These poor leprechauns won't know where they belong. As most of the rest of us won't know where we belong. Are you British? I don't know. Are you European? Don't know. English? Still don't know. Now this little town, Ballycastle, you're going to see it's very typical seaside town. You know, you're going to see a lot of these mobile homes and these caravan parks. These are all privately owned. People use these mobile homes as summer homes, basically. And in Ballycastle, you'll find there's beautiful beaches, there's play. Now I mentioned the gentleman Marconi. You're going to see a little house he once lived in. You're also going to see a memorial stone to Marconi. This is where the first successful radio signal was transmitted between the island Rathlin and here. There's also a hotel in his honour. Now this little island out here to the left, Rathlin, there's a little harbour here in Ballycastle. This is where you can catch the ferry. Little ferry boat operates between the island and the mainland. So these are the flags I'm talking about. See the colours on the right here? These are the colours of the local hurling team. They're, as I say, they're not political. And you'll see different colours of flags driving through the glens because a number of local finals took place over this last few days. So this little house on the left, the White House, this is where Marconi used to live. Everybody breathe in. But look at the view you're going to have over the bay. You can see how close, you can see the headland out front, Fairhead. Look how close Scotland is in the background. And there's the ferry down below. It'll make its way over to Rathlin. And the little stone here on the left, this is the Marconi Memorial. Okay, if you're not from the United Kingdom, you're going to see a road sign here that leaves you a bit, well, unsure. I saw the road sign here for the first time about 2 years ago. I near crashed the bus laughing. Because the world has gone politically correct. It's gone mad about political correctness. Well, if you ask me, this road sign's wrong on every level. See, when you see a red triangle on our roads, it's giving you a warning. Now, anybody from the bus from the United Kingdom, I'm sure you've seen these before. But just look at the one round the corner, because it says, be aware there are elderly people. But it's the way they depict the elderly people. Look. It makes you think they're dangerous. Or she's a pickpocket. Did you notice her hand was in his back pocket? So you can see these amber and black flags in sport now. Just as we've come out of Ballycastle, just a few days ago, the flags turned to green and white. But again, it's for the other hurling team, the local hurling team. As you can see. So two local clubs would have played against each other at the weekend there. Now this is Ballycastle golf course. Golf is a big sport here, obviously. This wouldn't be regarded as a championship course, it's more of just a local course, but very, very nice place. Over to the right is Bonamarty Friary, dating back to the 1500s. In that graveyard is where many of the MacDonald clan are buried. These 9 glens. Most of them radiate from the top of the Antrim plateau to the coast, and at the foot of each glen you'll find a little fishing village or a little seaside town. Many of the towns get their names from the glen, because every glen has its own name and they all have a different meaning. So you have Glen Shesk, Glen Tasey, Glen Ballyyemen, Glen Ann, Glen Corp, Glen Dunn, Glen Cloy, Glen Arif and Glen Arm. They're the 9 glens. I could have said anything. Glen Campbell, Glen Miller. Now, for example, to get back down to the coast, we're going to take you on a lovely drive down through beautiful woodland. And we'll go from one valley, one glen to the next by way of a bridge, a viaduct right across the glen. Taking us from Glen Dunn into Glen Corp. For example, Glen Corp is the valley of corpses, valley of dead bodies. Because if you think back centuries, these mountains and glens would have seen a lot in the way of battles between warring clans and the English crown. So there are many burial sites up here in the hills, mountains. One in particular, it is the grave of Oisin. Oisin was said to be one of Ireland's greatest poets and warriors, and he's buried up in the glens here. And just one other thing I'm going to point out before I put a little bit of music on for you, just let you fall asleep. I'm going to point out an area up in the glens called Loch Arima. Loch Arima means the vanishing lake. So you'll find a lake appears up in these hills. In a small area, a lake appears every 4 or 5 days. Then, a few days later, the lake is gone. It's disappeared underground. It is quite a strange thing that happens up here. But it's all to do with geology and pressure, air pressure. Because after a few days of rainfall, underneath this piece of ground you're going to see there's a river. But this soil, this ground we're on at the moment is very soft. It's a lot of peat, a lot of marsh, but underneath is limestone. Limestone is a very porous rock. But what happens is the river collects a lot of mud and silt travelling underground, and it will block the pores. It's like a sinkhole in the base of the limestone, and so it forms like a plug. So the water can't go anywhere. It rises very quickly, and a lake will form either side of the road. It's quite strange looking, and it's about 12 feet deep in parts. But then with a change in pressure, air pressure, the water forces down the way, and it will burst through the pores, and then the lake will disappear again. I think they've given it a proper title. It's called aquifer. So we don't know from one day to the next whether the lake is there or not. I haven't been up here in a few days, so I'm unsure. I haven't been here, but we did have a couple of nights of heavy rainfall, so we may see a lake. Geologists and scientists realised what was going on here. Well, the people of these areas just saw one day a lake was here, the next day gone. So they thought it was the leprechauns. They have to blame somebody, so obviously the most obvious choice was the fairies and the leprechauns that live up here. So, we'll see now if we've got a lake today. Yeah, we do. There you go, into the left. So I'll say come back in a day or so, that's gone. And you'll see it at its highest, you'll see little stones. See to the left, the water level gets up as high as those when it's at its very highest. Now further along here you're going to get an absolute fantastic view right out in front. You can see the Irish Sea away out in the distance, and you will get a beautiful view of some of the glens of Antrim. This is the highest point we come to, and very soon we're going to start coming back down again. And as I said, taking you down through some beautiful woodland, absolutely stunning. At sea level. For the next little while we're going to hug the coastline, in and out of little villages, seaside towns, fishing villages. One of my favourite places is this little town, Causeway. It's very small, but it's got 12 pubs, and it's basically one street. People from the surrounding farm areas, the countryside, if they're going out for a night, if they want to go out for a meal or a bit of live music or a drink, this would be a very popular little place. And you'll probably notice the purple and white flags again, all for the sport of hurling. Causeway played in Antrim's county final just on Sunday past. Unfortunately, they lost the final. But you'll see a large wall mural right in front of us in a moment, dedicated to their team, the local team. So you can see basically what it means to them, you know, it's a big part of their culture, this sport. Young girls play this sport. It can be quite funny watching young girls playing it, simply because when you see them, you know, they've got little angelic faces. Then you give them a stick and a helmet. They're no longer little angels. Now this little medieval tower here to the left is an old curfew tower. So if you were found on the streets of this village after a certain time of day, you were put in the tower. And coming up on the left, you'll see a little pub. This cream and maroon pub. The owner of the pub is Liam Neeson's sister. And so Liam Neeson would visit here quite often. See his sister, see family. About 3 years ago, he brought one of his friends, Robert De Niro. Had a few pints of Guinness in the little pub there with the locals. Now, of course, the locals were a bit starstruck. I'd love to know how many times he was asked the question, "Are you talking to me? You talking to me?" Thinking it was funny, and it was the first time he's ever heard it. So as you can see, that's us right down on the sea level now. And again, we're just going to hug the coast, as I said. We're going to be making a little break from the bus in about 15 minutes or so, guys. We're going to stop for you. As promised, we're going to stop in a little village called Carnlough. Let you use bathroom, stretch your legs. You normally stop for about 15 minutes or so you can get yourself refreshments, ice cream. After we leave there, we're going to continue down the coast for about 45 minutes to our last location, our last stop, which is Carrickfergus Castle. Because we get the impression doing the tours that this time of the day, it's like, just let me sit back. I don't want to walk anymore. Now, if you look directly in front of us, you'll see the ruins of Red Bay Castle. Because this area is known as Red Bay, and it's because of the amount of red sandstone. If you look at the water, sometimes you get a hint of red coming off, or dark brown coming off the sea. Now this castle would have had an escape route, as many did. Now this coast road was built in the 1800s. This castle dates back to the 1500s. Look down to the front left and you can just see a cave. Now look at the rock face right in front of us. That used to connect. You look up into that gap, you'll see a tunnels up to the right towards the castle. That was an escape route. If the castle was attacked, they had a way out to the shoreline to get away. There's also where they smuggled goods in, obviously. And I'm going to take you back. The valley, the glen away up there is the largest, the most beautiful. It is the queen of the glens. That is Glen Arif. Beautiful place, waterfalls, has its own forest park. But I'm going to take you back quickly to a period in Ireland's history when penal laws were introduced here. These were laws that were trying to get rid of Catholicism. So it was illegal to practice or preach the Catholic faith. Catholic children couldn't be educated. Well, coming up on the right, I'm going to slow as we pass them. There are 3 caves. They go about 50 metres back into the hill, just on your right now. These caves were used by the local people. One was used as a secret meeting place for Catholic Mass. One was used as a school. Believe it or not, the 3rd cave, it was used as a whiskey distillery. It's where they distilled poaching, which is like moonshine. It's an Irish form of moonshine. It's distilled from potato skins. Very, very strong, about 85% proof. Yeah, you drink too much of it, you go blind. Just got my sight back there. There's a little place called Waterfoot. It's very dear to Seamus, my colleague here. This is where his 94-year-old grandmother lives. She's normally sitting outside the pub, mind you. She hasn't been feeling great. She's still okay? Now, do me a favour. She's normally sitting in her little study. Top window, on the right, number 37. If she's there, give her a wave. Makes his day, and her day. Is she here? There she is. Up to the right, number 37. Give her a little wave. Did she wave back at you? Nosy bitch is there every day. Did you see the resemblance? And they say the Irish are stupid shills. Only puppies just were waving. So as I say, guys, we're going to be stopping in about 10-15 minutes. If you are a fan of Game of Thrones, this little village, this little harbour town we stop in, they actually used the harbour for a location, for a scene in Game of Thrones. I have to tell you a funny story about Game of Thrones in a moment. But there are two famous people associated with the little town we're going to stop in. One is Winston Churchill. Because in this little village, remember, it's a very small rural fishing village here in Ireland, Northern Ireland, and it's. But Winston Churchill, there's a little hotel, and Churchill once owned the hotel in the 1930s. He would inherit the hotel from his great aunt. She was Lady Londonderry. So he owned it for a short period, for about 2 years. But he sold it way back in 1934 to two local families. But their claim to fame, if you go inside the hotel, there's a huge plaque telling you Winston Churchill once owned the hotel. Guys, look how close Scotland is. You can see the distance now between our coastline and Scotland. 12 miles. The other famous person associated with this little town, he was actually born and bred here. He's a football manager. He's one of the top managers in the English Premier League today, and his name is Brendan Rodgers. He's the manager of Leicester City Football Club, but he used to manage Liverpool. That's why I never stopped. Just couldn't, I'm sorry. And I spoke about the salmon farms, guys, earlier, about, you know, they're trying to breed salmon, and you can see the cages out in the water here. And there'll be more of these as we continue down the coast. So they've been trying to breed salmon in these farms. Okay, sorry, Game of Thrones. A colleague of myself and Seamus is a young girl called Charlene, and she is our top Game of Thrones locations tour guide. She is fantastic girl. She's well, I say girl, she's 32. She's young to me. Loveliest person. But she knows everything about Game of Thrones. Now, I know most of you probably have never watched it, but it's a fanatical show. People come from all over the world to do the locations tours, but she knows everything. And she's been an extra on the show many times. Every time she's an extra, though, she just plays a dead person. She's normally just a dead wildie. She never has to move, so we always keep her going about that. You know, how did you do today? Did you move? No. Did you say anything? No. I was a dead person again. Oscar winner, eh? But her father is not a fan of Game of Thrones. Her father's never watched the show. She was telling me this story last week, and I thought this was the funniest thing. Her father's never watched the show. And her father is a very typical Belfast man. He's a builder, and a Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, his favourite time of the week is stops working and he goes to his favourite pub in Belfast. It's a little pub called